Allegedly, Arsenal want to sign Chiesa. Emil Smith-Rowe could be going to Luton. We've been linked with a Besiktas young rising star. People, deluded. I'm back again. As usual, big up to all of you lot for tuning in. I hope you're doing well and safe. Let me share my screen with you lot and let's go over the latest rumours concerning Arsenal Football Club. As we know, 99.9% of these things are BS, but they make for great talking points. Now, what is you lot's thoughts on Chiesa? I think when I think of Chiesa, I think he's a match winner. He's technically great, he's versatile, and he's a player that's been linked with us during his days at Fiorentina. Obviously, he's gone to Juventus now, and he's still persistently linked with us. When I think of him, I do think of injuries, and with the Arsenal tax, it doesn't make sense. Now, some of you would have seen a previous contents and pieces I've done. I told you that we'd get linked with Chiesa. There could be a bunch of reasons owing to his contract. Obviously, he wasn't seeing eye to eye with Allegri. He's now departed Juventus. So there's a bunch of reasons. On top of him, obviously, being an attacking player, give or take, can play up front as well as out wide. Two positions, apologies, that Arsenal probably need to bring in some recruits. So that's probably where the rumors come from, people. But allegedly, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Newcastle are all interested in signing Chiesa from Juventus, according to a report. Tutto Juve, reports that the trio of Premier League clubs are all weighing up the possibility of signing the creative forward for a sum in the region of 40 to 45 million euros. Chiesa is coming off a season in which he scored 9 top-flight goals from a side that was coached by Allegri for the majority of the season. But as we know, Motta is about to become their manager. And actually, you would have seen Joshua Zirkzee, a player that was linked with us. Apparently, he's moving ever closer to signing for AC Milan. And Benjamin Sesko is all the rage. Now, 40 odd million quid. I know stats saying everything, but 40 odd million quid with everything else I've said and 9 top flight goals. It's not really giving that he's going to really improve us. Of course, in a more attacking side around great players, he obviously has the capacity to do a lot more than that. Apparently, in total, for Juventus, he's played 131 times, people, and has 32 goals, with his career having stalled during the 2021-22 campaign, in which he suffered a hamstring injury before suffering a serious knee problem that kept him out for the best part of the year. He's not yet rediscovered the level that saw him lead Italy to Euro 2020 glory 3 years ago, but he will be a leading figure for Italy at the upcoming European Championships in Germany. So it is what it is in that regards. And he's also linked with a couple of clubs in Italy, people. Apparently, they could lose him to rival clubs. He'd prefer to join Conte at Napoli over Roma. So again, I'm always pessimistic on rumors originating out of Italy for obvious reasons. We've been burnt in the past with Vlahovic and Locatelli and a bunch of players, so who knows. Moving on, allegedly Smith-Rowe is wanted by Championship side Luton Town. Now, you saw Lokonga have a good loan spell there. You obviously saw Barkley do well there, and again, you know, Smith-Rowe, one of his best times away from Arsenal is actually his loan in the Championship at Huddersfield. And you can't be snooty. Football is football. Had Luton Town have stayed up, probably, but because they haven't, it does not make sense. And with 2 years left on his deal, it doesn't make sense to depart unless he's departing permanently. According to sources, Luton are hoping to sign Smith-Rowe on a loan deal to replace Ross Barkley, who will re-sign for Aston Villa. Rob Edwards believes the offensively minded midfielder could help Luton Town, and he's actually crossed paths with Smith-Rowe before during, you know, his days being involved with the England youth setup, in which it says it here. He's a really good player. I was lucky enough, he probably won't remember, but I did a few England camps with him at under 20s when I was at the FA, and I thought he was outstanding. We played Portugal, we won 4-0, and I thought he was brilliant. I've always been a big admirer of his. I thought he was really good. He's a top player. They've got a lot of top players here, and he's just been unfortunate not to get in, but I think he's an exceptional player. So that would be great for him in theory, but it needs to be a top-level loan. Apparently, the agent of Besiktas player Semih Kilicsoy, I can't pronounce that, forgive me, has confirmed that Arsenal are keeping tabs on his client. Now, an agent is always going to say everybody's looking at you. And, you know, young emerging talent across the whole world, Arsenal and everyone are going to be looking. But sending scouts, being kept updated on progress doesn't mean you're looking to sign him at any given point, people. You know, obviously Turkey have a lot of good young players coming through. Him and Arda Güler, just two of those. Apparently, the Besiktas striker enjoyed a real breakout season last term, netting a goal in the Super League pretty much every other game, despite just being 18. After a haul of 11 goals and 3 assists in 23 outings, that's quite good. The youngster is hoping to be on the plane to Germany for Euro 2024. He's got interest from Aston Villa allegedly, and apparently Arsenal, Manchester United, and Tottenham have all been said to be keeping keeping tabs on him, with the Gunners reportedly keen on the young striker on the continent too. He is said to have admirers, and this has now been confirmed by his agent. Apparently, if an offer has to come to Besiktas, I'm not aware of it. I know that clubs such as Bayern Munich, Manchester City, Arsenal, PSG, Monaco, Leverkusen, Stuttgart are watching Semih. We received information about this, but it's not reached the negotiation stage, at least from the ones who have reached out to us. There is no offer. He is a special player at a young age. Therefore, Semih is followed in the 5 biggest leagues of Europe. And of course, Besiktas situation is always important here. There's one more factor. Currently, he's only concentrating on the national team. We'll look at the situation after the European Championship. So I have to see what's going on there, people. We already know this, but allegedly, according to the Mirror, Aaron Ramsdale, Eddie Nketiah, Emil Smith-Rowe and Reece Nelson are all up for sale in this upcoming transfer window. Aaron Ramsdale potentially could even head out on loan. On the subject of Aaron Ramsdale, Arsenal open to letting the goalkeeper leave on loan if nobody is willing to sign the England star on a permanent basis. Ramsdale spent last season playing second fiddle for David Raya and has naturally attracted interest from Premier League rivals. However, he still has 3 years left to run on the new contract he signed just over 12 months ago, meaning Arsenal will only sell him for a substantial fee. They signed the shot stopper for 30 million in 2021, but Mirror Football understands that Arsenal would be open to letting Ramsdale leave on a temporary basis for a season if a permanent deal fails to materialize in the coming months. Bruno Gomares, apparently, people, he wants to stay at Newcastle, so I think that one was dead in the rubber anyways. Santi Cazorla has been potentially linked with returning to Arsenal in a coaching capacity, people, and apparently Mikel Arteta has left the door open for him. He said he's got a special admiration for both Mikel Arteta and Arsenal, and I'm sure we'd all love Santi Cazorla back, man. I just wish he was 20 years younger. That's an exaggeration. I just wish he was 5 or 10 years younger and our midfield would be sorted. Could you imagine him, Odegaard and Declan Rice? Forget about it. Apparently, we're set to miss out on Josh Rezerski. He's close to moving to AC Milan. Allegedly, he was one of those with the Isaacs, with the Gyökeres, with the Tonys, with Sesko, who's aggressively being linked to us in the last week, really, as someone we could potentially sign. Arsenal have reportedly been looking at younger players with the potential to become world-class, such as Zertsky and Benjamin Sesko. Links to Zertsky have been coming from abroad, mainly in Italy, while several journalists based in England and Fabrizio Romano have claimed the Premier League giants are looking at Sesko, who has also been targeted by Manchester United and Chelsea. Apparently, his agent is Kaya Jarutkin, who's quite close with Edu and whatnot at Arsenal. And apparently, you know, he's got a £34 million release clause. So it could be something to watch, but it seems like that one's gone really and truly. And it seems like Milan are moving ever closer. I did cover this in a previous vid, but Jarell Hato has confirmed he's going to stay at Ajax for at least one more season. So we'll have to watch that. Again, it's getting a bit boring where Onana's concerned, but allegedly we're hoping to snare, you know, him to the carpet, really. And apparently there's a growing feeling that the 12 cap Belgium international could be captured for good value. Now, what is good value? Anything beyond 50 to 60, it starts to get a bit vague. There's been conflicting reports that we're talking with his agent and that reports that we're doing such are wide of the mark. So we'll have to see exactly what's going on there. Eddie Nketiah is always going to be linked with a move away, and we've not found the conclusion over his future. Apparently, Arsenal would accept a big offer for Nketiah this summer. And I wonder, because of the length of the contract, similar to what we saw with Aaron Ramsdale, could he be someone that, if you can't get a permanent offer that makes sense, he goes out on loan? But you'd imagine it's the beginning of the end for Eddie Nketiah. Keeping up the theme with Arsenal's transfer news, you know, Eddie Nketiah was linked to Fulham, but Fulham's João Paulinho, who hasn't been linked with us recently, apparently Bayern Munich are set to reignite their interest. Apparently, people, this has attracted interest from Arsenal and Liverpool, while Bayern have been strongly linked with the Portuguese international. So he's another one that's going to be linked with us again. It says here, Arsenal, City or Liverpool could fund 38 million Bayern signing of the Fulham man. What does that specifically mean, really and truly? It doesn't really say anything there. Kimmich is still being linked with a move away from Bayern Munich, people. And he'd be a great signing. And apparently they've put Kingsley Coleman, Serge Gnabry, Mazawi, Goretzka and De Ligt up for sale, people. So expect to see rumours of Arsenal linked with such. Jarell Hato, as we've said, has said he's not leaving Ajax, and he says, I haven't finished learning, which I can't disagree. I'll just play for Ajax next season. I haven't finished learning here yet. I want to win prizes with Ajax. That was my dream when I came here. Fair enough, big him up, man. But make sure next season you're joining Timber. On Benjamin Sesko, apparently he's very much in demand at this moment in time, and he's been linked with Arsenal, Chelsea, and Manchester United aggressively. Romano's allegedly said the most important thing for Sesko is to decide upon, first of all, whether to accept Leipzig's proposal of a contract extension and a bigger salary. He has to tell them his feelings before the Euros and whether he will stay and extend or to leave and try a new experience. Chelsea, Man United, and Arsenal have presented their projects, and all three clubs are waiting to hear from Sesko. They all have different projects, different ideas, and a different vision, and obviously different plans as well as different kind of proposals in terms of salaries. I can guarantee you that as of today, Sesko has not yet decided where he'll go, but he's had some contact with clubs to understand about the projects, and he'll decide in the crucial days ahead. So that's a space for us to watch, people. Once again, Bruno Gomares has underlined his happiness at Newcastle, but has revealed his future is far from certain, people. I think he goes City. I think Arsenal have an admiration, but similar to Osman, I just don't think it makes sense for the club, people. He has said, look, my future, to be honest, is in God's hands. Boy, it's true, but quite cryptic. I have a contract with Newcastle. I'm very happy. As I said, I know how much they like me. I know everything I've been doing for the club. In short, I have a contract and I'm happy. I don't know what can happen. We know everything about financial fair play, but what I can say is that I feel happy. It's obviously very nice to be associated with big clubs. It indicates that I'm performing well, but I'm not concerned about it. As I said, I'm happy at the club. I'm very happy. So let's see what happens. I'm not in a hurry. I'm happy and it's up to God. So let's see what happens there, people. That was just me reading about Saliba. He said he's in the top 3 where centre-backs in the Premier are concerned, and I don't think he's wrong. We were linked with Dewsbury Hall of Leicester City, newly promoted Leicester City. Apparently, we're going for a different profile, people. Dewsbury Hall really excelled when bombing forward as a high-octane number 8 under Enzo Maresca, but that might not be the kind of profile in the end that Arsenal go for, and there's no indication yet that they'll try and advance things with Leicester City. Apologies. Apparently, we've made contact for Onana once again, folks. Team News and Ticks on Sesko has said no one is going to activate the release clause unless they know he's told them he's going to sign for them. It's highly likely only one club will activate the release clause if he is to leave. We may hear news of what he's decided soon, but I wouldn't expect anything complete until July, people. We've gone over the Giroud Hato stuff. You can see what it means to me there, people. Obviously, according to Ben Jacobs, Arsenal are ahead of Manchester United in the race for João Neves. There could be a possibility for Neves, although I'm told that Arsenal rather than United are the club that have seriously looked. The big money coming out of Portugal doesn't tally right now with what United have right now to be in place for a formal bid. I'm not going to discount the reporting of others, but I've not heard anything too concrete or advanced at this stage. I just don't see us spending the money that they might want for the talented but yet unproven 19-year-old people. And apparently Bernardo Silva is trying to get him to sign for Manchester City. I was telling him to come to Man City, but there you have it. And his manager spoke about how, well, Roberto Martinez, the Portuguese manager, spoken about how he doesn't see that there can't be a top club that he can't play for. So let me know your thoughts in relation to Neves, in relation to Hato, in relation to what we've seen with Eddie Nketiah, with Paulinho, with the Besiktas lag, with Chiesa, with Emil Smith Rowe and Cole. Check out the rest of the vids because I'm sure as I've been talking, hyperlinks have popped up. Most importantly, one love for tuning in, like, comment, and subscribe. And on that note, peace.